All right. And we're live. What's up, stream? Welcome to another Warhammer art. Let's draw some Heinrich Kemmler. For those of you keeping track, this is part 3. We're kind of getting into the hard ink phase now. My computer is in the repair shop, so I was about turn 200 in my Vampire Counts campaign, and that's all on pause now. So now I'm in a art campaign, if you will. For those of you keeping track, we are using this kind of as concept art or reference material, and yeah, we're kind of just getting into it. So I've been kind of messing around with the stream a little bit more, trying to provide some, light ambiance in the back. Hopefully that's coming through, and we can kind of just hang out for the next hour and get our draw on. After this is posted, I will put some chapter markers in there too, so you can kind of scrub through if you're interested in a particular part. But with that, let's just go ahead and dive in. Okay. So where we last started, we were kind of just getting some hard lines down. Good news, I did fix that issue we were having where he was basically making it to where I was like reselecting the brush every single time, which was just getting super annoying. So we just kind of have to find a good brush again, because it did kind of reset those settings. But let's get in here and kind of just, get our practice lines down. Okay, this will be a good size. Cool. So I'm using a tablet and a pen, and we're gonna get ahead of this and start drawing here. Alright, so let's see where we can kind of start off. We really ended with doing this chain area here. I'm gonna make sure that I have my concept or my reference material up open here. And this will be it. Okay, cool. I'll go ahead and get started. Alright, so where we wanted to get started is basically this area here. Kind of get a zoom in on it, makes it a little bit easier to work, and that's just one of the benefits of digital art. Kind of just really get in the thick of it. So these, I'll show you this art again. You can kind of see here that there's these hands almost. This is human skin. This is our boy Heinrich. He just is all about that necromancer life. So this is actually a human skin that's stitched together, kind of funky. But we're gonna be working on these knuckles here, grasping on to essentially these chains here, chain links. So that's what we're working with. Okay, let's get going. Okay, so we do have I have my hand on my Control Z for undo. This is usually just how it goes. I feel like we might even be able to bring this up to about 4. I feel like 4 might be a good call here. Ooh, 4 is a little thick. 4 is a little thick. Let me go 3.5. Oh, that just rounds it up. Well, in that case, let's go to 3. Okay. This should be good. Alright, so man, my change this opacity just up a little bit more here. See these reference lines. Okay, back into this. So let's see. We definitely know that we're gonna want to start here. These will come out like this. As well too, I can always just remake these lines, so we're not gonna really hold ourselves too accountable to them. And it looks like these actually kind of connect up here a little bit more, so these are where the links are. Oops, let's get on there. So this is kind of then where these links start. Yeah, and they do kind of come out a little bit more here. Thing is, they, you know, this is a pretty important piece of this dude's costume or gear. Then what we got is basically a like a grasping on. I'm kind of doing this the wrong way though, so I need to make this a little bit higher. Okay, so the hand kind of comes out like this and it grips on like this. I need to kind of come back to this, but I'm gonna kind of just kind of blow through this. I don't want it to really hold me back too much. Gonna get that finger there, so it just kind of shows that grip a little bit more. And also, once we zoom out of this, this will be, you know, there's gonna be so much going on, especially when we get color in there, that you know, it won't be, people won't be looking too much into the detail. That's one of them. And now that I have this, it kind of does make it easier to kind of follow some symmetry. Kind of repeat the process on this side. Okay. Definitely not feeling these hands though. I'm gonna probably redo these, but once we get there. But I mean, this is just funky anyway. This guy's got human hands. Definitely kind of put some of these little, you know, stretch marks in here. Then let's kind of just zoom down a little bit more. Okay. So now these are going to be actually patches of skin. So we can make it a little, you know, this is kind of those stitches in there. Okay. And I think this might actually, let's see how far this down goes. Yeah, then actually this guy's got like a, it's kind of creepy. Check this out. He's got like a face. Pretty nasty. We're not really going to be able to capture that entire thing, but we'll try to give it the same effect. Okay. Okay, and this actually, I thought these skulls were a little bit off-centered, but it looks like they are, there's one just right in the center here, so we're kind of gonna just freehand these a little bit. Again, just kind of getting back in the swing of things. Let's see here. So yeah, we'll kind of come out like that. Then bring these kind of skull bones out like so. And this looks like it's really just kind of the teeth area. Parts in the center here though are really important to get right, because it's kind It just provides that symmetry. Okay. It's gonna be like not necessarily totally photorealistic, you know. Gonna look a little cartoonish, but something we might get in there and clean that up after. Okay. I mean, ultimately, this thing goes all the way around, so almost just recreate this like so. And just do another circle up here. It's kind of getting a little bit easier to work these work this pan. I had to kind of really get used to this a little bit. It's been a bit. Again, in the grand scheme of things, you know, this will be fine. Really just want to just make sure that we're hidden. Cool. One thing that we want to definitely be aware of is just the sizing, right? We want to make sure that these skulls are pretty consistent across the size. And it looks like looks like these are actually, you know, we're not going to have it 1-to-1. So I feel like this could even come in a little bit more, right? Something like that. Okay, so we definitely are going to want to at least get 2 more in there. So we can do that. Oh, this is a bit. There we go. They're just kind of getting more and more funky as we go. It's funny. Okay, see, so this is where we got to be a little careful here. Ooh, that's a fat head. One more time, one more time. One more time here. Okay. So, you know, up close this is looking little funky, but you know, you kind of zoom out a little bit. With everything else going on, I mean, it kind of, you know, you kind of get the picture of it. And yeah, these are tiny skulls, so cool. Yeah, this isn't looking too bad here. You can kind of tell that these lines are a bit not as thick, but it's all good, all good. Okay, I can just kind of get back in here again. Okay. And for here, basically there is a circle in here, which maybe I should have started with in the first place in retrospect. But let's go ahead and make this circle. Okay, and then all these skulls are really kind of just attached to the outer ring of this circle. So that would have been that probably would have been the place to start. Oh, yeah, see, so. Cool. So one thing, you know, about digital art too that's pretty rad is I can kind of just go like this. Instead of having to redraw this entire thing, I can just kind of go ahead and move this guy. Yoink. Oops. Make sure the right layer is selected. Cool, and then Control deselect. Cool. That's just an example of the benefits of digital art. Okay. So I think that's fine there, you know. Okay, and then what happens is this is actually skin that then kind of causes... Select the right layer. And this kind of comes out like that, and then like just like wraps around. One thing about getting too zoomed in is that you sometimes lose, you know, orientation of where things are with the rest of the composition going on. So you just kind of want to make sure that you're staying a little bit in touch with that. Okay. I'm looking at my, so you can kind of just again see the reference. This is where we would be here. Kind of just this dark area around with these bands. So it's coming in. It's coming in. Actually, with this last line we just made, I feel like we can kind of even just bring this in a little bit closer here. Yeah, do that. Because this thing does loop around. Okay. Then we can kind of just end this skin here. But we'll definitely want to kind of reconfigure that a little bit later. Okay. This is again going to be stitched skin. So this is what this line was for here in the concept, in the reference phase. This then kind of came around here and was its own little patch. So of course this was not, you know, stitched perfectly. He's old, he ain't got time for that. It's kind of just another line here. Some of this stuff, you know, you can kind of just make little longer lines, which is nice. You know, you don't have to be so... You don't gotta be so detailed with everything, especially when you're kind of just getting started again. Gotta make this a little bit better lined out. Coming from both sides here. There you go. And we can always just get in here and hit this with a little eraser. Cool. Okay. Well, here we'll just kind of make a additional little, you know, stitched area. And honestly, I am stoked to be out of this area. Let's go ahead and kind of zoom out and see what we're working with. So ultimately this can always just be really dark in here. This is just going to kind of be fabric. But let's see, this actually looks like this kind of comes out a little bit more like that. Just a lot more. It's skin, you know, dried skin. Okay. So from there, let's go ahead and just zoom out of this bad boy a little bit. I feel like we're kind of just like getting really shrunk here, though. You know, I feel like this should almost be a little bit bigger. Let me pull up this concept again. Like it shouldn't be that small. I feel like we're kind of just getting a little minimized here. Yeah, it looks like I just kind of might make these fists a little bit bigger. And then actually, you see how they come out a little bit more? almost like an apron. This one kind of carves in. So I'll go ahead and kind of just redo that right now. Okay. So go ahead and just zoom back in. So we'll just kind of do another line here. This one was kind of fine on this side. And you know, I already mentioned we'll go back to these hands, and so we won't get too involved in them here. We can start working on his sword though, and looks like this is going to be, come down here, the hilt. It's a little dark on this photo, but I assume it goes something like this. And then we'll just kind of want to, you know, this is going to be the cap of it right here. Okay, circles. I'm getting a little bit better. And then the butt of it's actually going to be up a little bit more, because this is kind of foreshortened a little bit. So it won't be perfectly in the center. It'll be actually orientated a little bit higher on here. That's good. And then this is just going to be straight down. Want to just get these lines out. You know, if you kind of just take too much time doing them, you're just kind of just gives it a chance to get more crooked anyway. So it is all good. This will be here. This will kind of show some you know, depth to it. And then I can't see this in the photo here, but I guess I always like to kind of just do something like this on these swords. Just kind of shows some, you know, almost like handle. Okay, and let's see. I don't really see him with a sheath, but maybe just kind of do that. Just knowing, you know, we want to follow this straight line down here for sure. Probably even just more so. Have it a little bit bigger. Something like that. Alright, where can we bounce off to now? Where can we bounce off to now? Okay, that's looking a little bit better. We'll definitely want to get in there and redo those hands. And I think for this, you know how I was saying that if you stay zoomed out too far, it'll, you know, you'll kind of lose orientation of sizing of everything else. So I think that's kind of a little bit of what happened here. For this, so it kind of looks like he has almost a piece that comes out like here and in. It's almost like he has a little like top shawl going on that we can kind of put like this. Since this shawl will be up, since this sleeve's kind of coming out, we'll start this here. I mean, ultimately this arm is then going to be out like this. This thing is almost like an apron. Huh. So, yeah, I mean, we might need to clean this up a little bit here, but we're just gonna get these lines down and see what's good. Kemmler looking a little thin. Okay. And actually, there is a top part here that does kind of stop at this chain. So it's actually like another shawl piece like this. That, I it doesn't come that far down from the chain, but this is kind of where it's like almost like a part right here that has some of these bends as well too. Okay, let me just get in here. It's kind of putting on the layers of his clothes. So this is where this can then get removed and removed. So this is kind of the top shawl here. This thing's kind of rotted out. He's got little... We'll kind of get into these details a little bit later, though, once we get the initial lines out. This is kind of maybe more of like a cloth look, too. Almost like a... You know, so it's not so even. Okay. Cool. Here. Let's go ahead. Pff, you thought the hands and the apron were bad? Wait till we do these hands, yo. Alright, so it looks like it kind of comes up. Oh, my Lanta. This is the land of hands, man. Spend a whole lifetime learning hands. Okay, this is gonna kind of be where his thumb's at. And then kind of comes down like this. Like, this is the rest of his finger. This is then holding the staff there. And ultimately, even in this picture, like, it doesn't look like he's actually gripping onto this thing too hard, you know? Like, seems kind of, you know, probably because this is a computer model. So I mean, I'd almost say like you wouldn't see these nails here, but who am I? Who am I to say? Okay. Oof. Okay. Definitely gonna have to revisit these hands. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, we'll come back to these hands, I think. I'm gonna get too lost in the sauce over here. As long as the orientation's right, I mean, this kind of would then come up. What? These fingers go pretty far, actually. So I'm saying it doesn't look like he's kind of gripping this in this photo, but we'll figure this out. We'll figure this out. Okay, let's work on his other sleeve here now. Looks like for this is kind of just showing some of these lines in here too. Okay. So just a lot of wrinkles here. This is kind of where the arm kind of breaks out. This will then be the elbows kind of behind him a little bit more. So I think we can even just kind of start with that. I mean, we still got some room here too, so we might have to do another hand. Okay, but with that, go like this. Not so big there. Still trying to give it that you know, robe, that felt look. We might even end up pushing this through a little bit. if we started his body here, this might be where we end up doing it. Make him a little bit bigger there, so it doesn't look like he's just shrinking down by the time he gets to his. So we'll have to see how that looks when we zoom out. I kind of don't. There's definitely like a noticeable difference of the line thickness. As I switch those settings up, I had to though. So it is all good. Okay, here we can kind of then just say, this will be nice. We won't be able to include his hand here, but you know, this will show, at least when we do get into the coloring part, this will be a nice little pop of color, that tan skin. And we could just, you know, kind of just, you know, show that his hand will be here. Something like that. Oh boy. We will probably do the hands, bro. The hands. Okay, let's see. Let's move on to the staff. And I think for this one we had... Look at this. So here's the man's staff. The other concept art or reference art we were using, it's a little bit different. So I didn't really see that the wood comes out of the eye like that, but I think that's pretty sick. So I definitely want to. This one's a little bit different from what I was seeing, so I definitely want to get this included in there too, because that really does, you know, showcase how this all comes together. So let's get it done. Okay, moving on to the staff. We'll go ahead and just get a zoom in here, make it a little bit easier for all of us. Okay. It's funny. Why that is why you don't always just have fat lines like that. This is where this can kind of come out and kind of just, you know what it's trying to say here. You know what it's trying to say. Piece of wood that'll come a little bit more clean once we you know, once we. His nostrils though, his beak super long compared to mine. I gotta get a little bit longer here. It's a different photo from my my concept art. So this is actually gonna be a little bit more kind of. And here, you know, I know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make a skull, so I don't have to be so like on it. This is kind of, it'll come in a little bit like this. This is where the other socket would be. And it kind of follows this line here, and then we kind of just do this fat long beak. Okay, and this, for example, I might even want to just kind of come in a little bit. Again, I can kind of just erase this as it goes, but this is a little bit see, I'll show you what I'm looking at. It's like this part here is, looks like, you know, I think this might be the kind of the jaw of it, and then this is the eye socket, but I think it's kind of just this like cheekbone here that's trying to capture. So okay, let's try to do that then. So we'll say for this, then this can kind of come down like this. Here, this is like the cheek. This is like the under beak, I think, is what this is. this is going to be a little bit more like that. This is going to take a little bit of playing around with too before we kind of get this right. And then from there, this line is what we'll end up using. Then feeds into these lines a little bit more. So this is the actual nostrils of the beak. We'll want to make sure what we do is just to be consistent with where everything else is placed. So you can see how I'm kind of going off my reference lines, but it's because I was using a different photo for that. So this is what happens. Okay. Then ultimately for here, what we'll do is we'll just kind of get a scroll down on, you know, just keep moving the canvas. This is actually can be a little bit longer, you know. It's a beak for sure. And it's a pointed beak too. Needs to be a little bit more pointed. Okay, this is actually going to be like a little mouth part here. And this thing actually comes out a little bit more. All right. I got to call it a little early. We didn't hit the full hour, but it is 9:30 my time, and 9:30 is when we start to do the tidy time at our house. So we gonna go clean up a little bit. You can kind of see here, I'm struggling a little bit with the proportions. Things are starting to shrink down, but you know, we could definitely get back into that next time, and I think that'll be what we start off next stream with. This is we'll bring this down a little bit more, but you can see it's kind of coming along. This is, like I said, probably some of the hardest part here, just getting this rocking. But you know, we can make everything bigger. One thing we can do as well too, which is kind of neat, is say if I really like this, you know, if I really like this, I think what we can do is just kind of do this and make it bigger, right? It's definitely gonna change the it'll change how thick this is, but I mean, that's always an option with digital, so we might almost just have to do a little bit more of that grow around here. I mean, even just like take this whole thing here, you know, can always just do that, and then just do something like that. You know, we'll have to kind of finagle it around a little bit more, but we got some options to make things bigger. But cool, y'all. Thanks for watching this VOD, or if you watch this live, thanks for hanging out, and yeah, stay tuned for more. Be sure to smash that subscribe button, because we are on a mission to get this thing lined up, and then we move to color, which will be really fun. It's going to be challenging, but looking forward to that. So thanks for joining, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you all later.